Welcome to IAYTD. It's Friday, which means it's fight day, and today we are cooling our jets a little bit because last week we did a crazy fight that hurt everyone's head to think about. So this week we're going to keep it simple, and we're going with two deadly women assassins. We've got Elektra versus Cheshire. So we'll start by talking about Elektra. Elektra is a trained assassin. She's trained by both the Hand and the Chaste, which are usually opposing forces, but she managed to double dip and get training from both. She is incredibly deadly. She usually uses sais, so like three-pronged blades, as well as katanas, throwing stars. She is very versatile. Now in this match, in addition to her martial arts skills and all that, she has a little advantage in this, that she was killed and resurrected by the Hand, and this gave her a connection to this demonic entity called the Beast. And this connection gives her some advantages. Most notably, it gives her minimal precognition and minimal telepathy, so she might be able to use these to get the edge on Cheshire. The downside with these extra powers is that she doesn't quite know how to use them or where they come from or how they work. So it might be an advantage if she can tap into how to really maximize those bonuses. So now let's talk about Cheshire. I've been watching a lot of Young Justice recently, which is an awesome show. And Cheshire is this really fascinating character, and so I've been looking up more about her actual DC Comics history. Like Elektra, Cheshire has multiple trainings that are going to come into play here. She was trained first by a Chinese guerrilla fighter, not a gorilla, but like guerrilla, like sneaking, using the environment, finding ways to balance the playing field. So she was trained that way first, and then she was trained by an African warrior by the name of Spitting Cobra, who taught her how to use poison and toxins. And so now Cheshire is known for coating her fingernails in poison, sometimes even different poisons, so that one scratch could be deadly. Now, in terms of her actual fighting abilities, she hasn't really shown a lot of skill, but both Batman and Deathstroke have verbally said that Cheshire is almost their equal, that they are very much impressed by her ability to fight. So even though we may not see that in action, those are some incredible references. So for this matchup, we've got Elektra, various weapons, very well trained, some bonus abilities given to her by the Beast, which might be helpful yet unpredictable, versus Cheshire, who is also very well trained in guerrilla warfare, plus poison, which could tip the scales. So what do you think would happen? Lay out your experiences with Elektra and Cheshire. Tell me which one you think would come out on top. This is to the death because these ladies don't joke around. And I'm also going to say for this match, there is prep time. Both of them know about each other. They know what the other one can do. Who takes it? Now let's talk about last week. Last week we had the headache that was Jean Grey the Dark Phoenix versus Kyle Rayner the White Lantern. And there's a reason I don't do a lot of cosmic fights, because it is incredibly difficult to predict. When you get into people that can warp reality, they're not even fighting at that point. You know, it's not who would win in a fight, it's who can warp reality first, or the most, if that's even a quantifiable thing. So when we talk about these two characters that have both exhibited the ability to change reality, it gets complicated. And there were not a lot of comments giving a winner, because I think it's just like, I don't know. It's a fun scenario to think about, right? The Phoenix shows up to destroy the DC universe. Can White Lantern stop her? But in terms of source material, they both have done crazy things. And you could argue for either one, and people did argue for both. And they said, well, White Lantern could tap into the life equation, he can change the source, and he can do all this stuff and make her not exist. But then someone on the Phoenix side could say Phoenix could, take out White Lantern and make him cease to exist. She can wave her hand, make him never appear. And both of them, in terms of if they could even be killed, is another huge question. That if White Lantern could even take down the Phoenix, Jean Grey will come back and the Phoenix Force will still be around. Likewise, if Phoenix does kill White Lantern, he will likely come back, find a way, the white light will protect him, something. So this is very complicated. Leon Murray agreed and said it would be a tie. They are both massively powerful. The battle would be long and hard, but Kyle would use the life equation on the Dark Phoenix to make it snap out of it. This will result in the knockout of Kyle and the Phoenix returning to Marvel. So in that scenario, basically it kind of comes to a stalemate. The Phoenix will likely attack again. White Lantern could stop her again. This will go on and on and on. These two crazy powerful people, it could go either way, and it likely would go back and forth for the rest of eternity. So that is why I don't do other matches when people suggest Franklin Richards versus this. It gets complicated. So that's why this week we're going simple, and we're going to keep it simple for a little bit to get back to what made these fights fun. So as always, give me creative suggestions in the comments, and I'll try to get to them. You all do an awesome job of giving suggestions, and I have a lot already, but I can always use more. So thanks for watching. We'll see you next week on Comic Fights.